Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Jabs' Nature's Prophet. He actually managed to win the lane against Naga Siren, which is definitely a feat. They 100% picked Naga Siren into Nature's Prophet, and this is a matchup I've played time and time again. People definitely picked Naga into Furion. However, at the end of the day, he wins his lane and ends up carrying the game. I mean, not literally only carrying the game, but he bought carry items. It's not necessarily what you would expect. The more popular build right now is certainly, at least on Offlane from what I've seen, is certainly the Ag's Gleipnir. However, Jabs went for Gleipnir, BKB, Assault Kuros, Nullifier with a casual Morbid Mask, which I kind of get, 18% lifesteal. It's actually so high. Yeah, casual Morbid Mask into Satanic. And what's most impressive to me is if we skip ahead towards minute 9, he has the same last hits as a Naga Siren and is crushing her on net worth. This is not how you expect this matchup to go, so let's break it down. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So the first thing that he's going to do is spawn 4 treants to start the lane. The way you do this is you spawn treants 10 seconds before the rune starts, and as long as you do that, you'll have 4 treants right off the bat. From there, I think the main thing that he does well is he focuses on killing illusions and contesting every CS. He isn't too worried about hitting the Naga. I mean, he hits her occasionally, for instance here when she like heavily overextends. From there, it's mostly about contesting the majority of the creeps. And I think what Talon understands is that the Naga Siren Crystal Maiden lane does not put pressure until level 2. I mean, they can put a little bit, but Naga doesn't do much at level 1 in terms of pressure, and CM does a lot of level 1 and a lot of level 2, but I don't know, Naga just doesn't synergize that well. So all Jabs has to do is to play a relatively defensive lane and sit back and contest every single creep, and what they're doing so incredibly well is that Q on the Tiny is also contesting a lot of the creeps. One clip that shows something that Jabs has that I honestly think personally I don't, at least in this case, is he's really putting a heavy priority on clicking the illusions. I mean, for instance here, he's going to miss an entire last hit. You'll see there's a last hit up to the north to just click Yuragi's illusions. And I think this is important because he sees the big picture, right? These illusions last for a long time. Just so if you guys don't know, they last for 26 seconds. So if you can kill 2 illusions within 10 seconds, right, you have a big period of time, the next 16 seconds, where the Naga is way weaker than she usually would be. And that allows them to nearly pick up the first blood on solo. And that's huge, right? In this engagement, I don't know if this play would have happened, right? If he had not killed off the illusions earlier, I really don't know if this play would have happened because the Naga would have been able to go on him with 4 illusions, and that is a significant increase in the amount of Riptides that would have come out because Riptide is based on every 6 attacks that Naga throws out, she procs and does damage. It's the main way Naga does damage early on. And so without those major amount of procs, the wave doesn't shove in as hard, and the Naga just simply does less damage. So really, the small things compiling for Talon here and making a big deal. From there, he's going to TP back to base. This is something you always do on Furion. You use your regular TP out, and then you TP back in. He went for Wand Wraithband in this lane, which I definitely understand. I think it's a lane where you could go boots, because Naga CM is actually pretty threatening for Furion at some point. I would say with Tiny, it's not too bad, because if they ever frostbite you, he can avalanche defensively, as long as he's keeping that in mind, so that's definitely nice, right? It's definitely a lane where your position 4 can help you a lot. But yeah, the Wraithband Wand is just a must in most lanes against CM. The Wand allows you to spawn treants off cooldown, which is why I really like it. And then the Wraithband, even though Nature's Prophet armor really isn't too bad, I get it against Naga just because she reduces armor, right? It's like playing Furion against CK. That's another hero where I would largely be recommending buying 1 or even 2 Wraithbands just because it kind of comes down to like how well you can man fight in the laning stage and how well you can deal with physical damage. And yeah, from there, he's just going to be spawning treants off cooldown and really looking to pressure. I would say at this point you generally pressure the CM, but anytime the Naga walks up, he's killing the illusions and pressuring the hero, as he's going to get almost perfect CS. I say that and he misses a flag bearer creep. You hate to see it, you really do. Oh my, he missed 2 in a row. And I will say I'm surprised to see the Gloves of Haste. I personally would have picked up Boots here, and the reason why is, once again, I just like being able to run away from Naga when she tries to get on top of you. Obviously, Boots don't help you when you're netted and frostbitten, but outside of that, they obviously do. And you'll see in this clip, he definitely drops pretty low, but then the CM TP's mid, which I don't know about that play from the CM, to be honest, because then immediately Talon's like, oh, okay, I guess we just get to hit your Naga Siren. And frankly, if Jabs was a little bit more on point with the Treants, that might have been a kill with some body blocks, or at least the majority of her HP pool. So nice punish from Talon seeing the CM TP. But I will say a big thing about this lane, honestly, probably the biggest thing I'm going to emphasize, like, I can't stress this enough, if you're trying to get to the next level, the main thing that most people wouldn't notice about this lane that's really good about Talon is they were almost never the initial aggressors. On the first blood play, you could argue the tossback was sort of initial aggression, right? Them going first. But then outside of that, they aren't running at the Naga. They aren't avalanching Naga aggressively. Because you know what happens if you do that? It's actually really interesting. If you go aggressive on Naga in this lane, the CM spells become way too effective. Because then at that point, when you've committed all of your nukes, you've committed your positioning, the CM Frostbite will catch you when you're inside of a creep wave, so will the slow, and naturally the enemy will be able to synergize because you've committed yourself forward, right? However, if you never put yourself forward and they always have to initiate on you by casting a disable, they lose one of the disable's value. I'm going to basically explain what that means once again really quick because I think that might be a little confusing. You see in this clip here, when they have to net aggressively, they have to net to close the gap, you lose a lot of damage. If you can hit, net, hit, you get more damage than net, hit. Does that make sense? And it's the same thing with CM leading, right? And they still do a ton of damage because they have 3 disables. It's like a really tough lane for Furion, I would say overall, at least it can be. But they don't commit the avalanche until afterwards. Right? They don't force their spells, and that's the only reason you're getting even trades and definitely a counterpick lane. Like, this lane is not good for profit, I can tell you that for a fact, but they're making it work because they're just not overforcing the issue and they're punishing on the disengage. And punishing on the disengage is literally one of the most important concepts in Dota, and now, yeah, the CM TP might have been a grief, I'm not gonna lie. The CM needed to be here. There's a double wave and a cart. The Naga's kind of getting pressured off the double wave. They're nearly going to lose the tower with a Treant Naga. That is terrible because one of the benefits of this Naga profit lane is the Naga can potentially, as they nearly kill her, the Naga can defend the tower for a long time against Treants. She's one of the best Treant clearers in the game. But this is, I mean, this is a disaster from Hellraisers. Just not playing the lane correctly. Talon playing the lane very well, them not playing the lane correctly. And now you lose the tower at minute 7 with counterpick. And a Treant, like, oh my, this is a great set of plays from Talon here. From there, the game kind of slows down. You can rotate pre-level 6 to take towers, but it's pretty hard for them to take the mid tower. I would say Batrider could kill DP, maybe, but it's difficult, right? Death Prophet is very survivable. He does look for a mid TP here, so Lasso comes out, and he definitely doesn't want DP to get off too many siphons. It's a risky TP, but nope, they get the job done. It was close, but they get the job done. He's going to drop the Wrath of Nature, trying to take down the Dream Protector, and they do get it. And from there, these mid rotations are the best rotations, guys. Like, in terms of Furion rotations, I would almost recommend never TPing anywhere, unless you're going to be able to transition that gank into a tower, or you're going to get multiple convenient kills. Because if, like, you're not getting multiple kills or you're not getting a tower, the best net worth play tends to be just to sit in your lane, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, he is giving up this camp, maybe if this camp was alive, maybe this camp, the wave, you know what I mean? The wave might die to the tower. As the ET is going to TP in, so that's nice. ET is going to get it, which is kind of a nice part about this play as well. Maybe your support can get a little bit of XP in your lane, and they will take down the mid tower. I mean, that's huge, right? Freaking huge. And this is the benefit of profit. This is the profit factor. You take 2 towers 8 minutes in, the 2 tier 1s that keep the map together for the enemy team, typically, and now you just kind of come back to your lane and you look to scale, right? Of course, he can look for another rotation, primarily when his Wrath of Nature is back up. That's an opportunity for him to make a play, and you can see he's checking around. Whenever you have Wrath of Nature, you definitely can look for a play. As he's gonna drop the Wrath to pressure Naga. This is kind of weird. I don't really know why he's running at her here. I would just focus on pushing the creep wave, and because he did miss an entire wave of CS there, so that wasn't great. And then he's gonna take some creeps away from the Naga. I like this, right? Kind of pushing in the wave and then jungling her camps. You definitely can do this because of the information you have. This is not a hero that naturally can just walk into the jungle alone, at least not too easily, because of the fact that you can't really disengage, right? You can try to TP out, but that's tough. And so because of the fact that he sees 4 heroes bottom, he feels comfortable about just pushing in top all the way and working towards the Maelstrom. And then he's even gonna walk up to the tier 2 here. There's no way he commits on that. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, there's no way he's hitting the tower. But he's gonna drop the NP ulti and look for maybe kills bottom. Nope, just to pick off on the Darkseer, okay. And this is mostly Nature's Prophet gameplay, guys. You don't wanna take fights unless they're like pretty convincingly in your favor, or at least like you know you're gonna get 1 to 2 kills before dying, because the hero just farms too damn fast, especially when you rush a Maelstrom, right? With this item build, I really expect Jabs to put the majority of his gameplay, the majority of his priority on just hitting creeps as tries to TP out. Goes down here, yeah, did get ganked. From here, what I like about Jabs' gameplay is the map is pretty tough right now. Talon has definitely lost quite a bit of their map control, and so what he has to do is use the treants not to farm, but to scout. So he's gonna send them to the camps as well, also at the 54 minute mark, right? And what that's going to allow him to do is block Naga's camps too. If you can get good at scouting and blocking on Prophet, the hero becomes a completely different hero, because the amount of net worth value you get from blocking camps against Naga is insanely high, right? Because the hero has to jungle. That's what Naga does. You know what I mean? She doesn't, I mean, she can take lane creeps, but the benefit of Naga is her ability to jungle really fast. But yeah, once again, with the Maelstrom build, farming it up. I know he's an offlaner, but the thing is, if you're not going Ags, you know what I mean? If you're rushing Ags, that means you're looking to fight. But I think because he has like a Batrider sniper comp, ET Tiny, like all 4 of his teammates are more mid-game heroes, as he'll look to TP bottom here. But yeah, the enemy team is definitely a lot more early game oriented. I would say the main component of the early game for the enemy team is Death Prophet, as yeah, you know, sometimes you fight into DP and you think it's a good idea, and it's not. But yeah, I would have even liked to see Talon not show up to that fight at all, because they don't have to shut down the DP right now. They counter DP really hard in the mid game. I would say Prophet's good against DP in the mid to late game when you get a couple of items. You get your root items, you can kiter siphons pretty hard, and so is Sniper. Even Batrider is really good control against all of their heroes are actually pretty good against DP, because you have a lot of burst and have a lot of range, which is the way to deal with DP, right? Because if you're from range, she can't siphon. If you can burst, she can't siphon, and that's the way to beat the hero. But yeah, he's gonna push in top and jungle it up, right? Pushing in the camps is taking a little bit away from Sniper here, so you know, typically you want to try to push out the enemy waves and jungle up their camps, and that's one of the downsides. If you're playing Prophet and your team loses a couple team fights, the hero can feel bad for at least the next few minutes, because when you don't see anything, that's when Prophet becomes a bad hero, because when you don't see anything, you can't TP around, you can't farm confidently, because your hero doesn't man up well. Not at this point. Eventually you do. At this point you don't. And so this is when Prophet feels pretty bad, and that's why he kind of has to ping his Tiny like, hey, come over here, we can kick out this Naga if you're here, or at least you could protect me. So I do like his call, and there you go, like the Tiny shifts over, they're not going to kill the Naga Sirens. Honestly, not even a good idea for them to hit the Naga Siren, and he'll TP top, and he's going to look to now clear out the top wave. Alright, now we get to Suicide Bomber, Nature's Prophet. This is the point of the game when you have Gleipnir, where honestly you can kind of put your body on the line to control the enemy team. Gleipnir is such a big AoE and such a good cast range where it's just often worth it to get a 2 or 3 man Gleipnir and put yourself on the line. For instance here, he Gleipnir's the Naga, Gleipnir's the Darkseer, and yes, he's kind of getting destroyed here. It's a great wall from the Darkseer and a great shell onto the Illusion, so Jabs is going to end up falling, gets frostbitten, kind of just gets stuck in this wall and destroyed. Maybe his TP, I don't want to say it could have been on the cliff, maybe it could have been a little bit more to the side. You don't typically want to end up melee range of heroes, like why would you? You know what I mean? You want to keep like a 500 unit distance. So his TP wasn't perfect there, but at the end of the day, when your team is snowballing, if you see a numbers advantage, which is certainly what that was, the DP was not there at the time, you should TP in and sacrifice yourself. I would say one of the most important factors about being a good Prophet player is quickly being able to identify when your team can disengage. Now, I will admit, part of the reason I think Prophet has a bad win rate in pubs, like your average pub, is because your team typically is just going to fight. So the reality is the best way to win on Prophet is getting your first item timing as fast as humanly possible, so you need to master the laning stage and master the farming patterns of the first 15 minutes, which is something the average player doesn't do, so you should work on that. And then when you get that down, honestly, just join the majority of fights. I'm not gonna lie. You should get an early Gleipnir timing. When you get that early Gleipnir timing, every time you have Wrath of Nature and Gleipnir, you're going to be able to do an AoE of about 500 damage to every hero you see, right? Because the enemy team will clump up, Wrath of Nature will do about an average of 300 damage as long as you cast it from across the map, and you're going to win the fight just based on a couple Maelstrom procs and 500 AoE magic damage, right? It's insane damage, like insane early game damage. However, anytime the map breaks down, the game slows down. For instance, his team is playing defensive here. The enemy team showed the majority of their heroes top. If this situation does happen in your pubs, you want to immediately push out the other side of the map. Number one, to get farmed, and number two, for map control, right? It's going to push in this wave and potentially make the enemy team want to show. They're going to want to clear their wave. And boom, immediately the Naga Siren shows bottom, and now they can feel comfortable about potentially smoking out to top, right? They can make a play top. I actually think he should be using these treants to push out the top wave. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a little bit low skill from Jabs. In the mid to late game, you don't need treants to push in creep waves unless you're not there at all, right? If you're not there at all, you should use the treants on the creep wave. If you are there, you should use the treants to scout. You should be sending them into the jungle to give vision, because you just don't need, as I said, you don't need them to clear the wave. However, the vision of treants in the mid to late game is insanely useful. So you can kind of just shoot them through the jungle, just send them through the jungle, even if you don't know how to split them up at the moment. You guys can ask me maybe in the comments, I can go into it. I have it in some other videos. You can split them up individually very easily. It's super easy. But yeah, either way, let's keep going. So in the majority of team fights, you want to TP on the outside. Obviously, I said when it's early game and Gleipnir is like really broken, you can just kind of TP into them and like sacrifice yourself. Getting into the mid to late game, that's not the case. You want to be able to consistently auto from the outside, right? You die to a lot of right clickers and you definitely die to exos. So in this case, he just wants to play the outside, right? They want to kite and look for an opportunity for someone to overextend. For instance, Lasso comes out. Okay, he's going to get songed. He should be fine. He has BKB Gleip. He can definitely hit up their BKBs as he's going to do that. Root onto the CM. And at this point, he kind of just has to man up till he dies. And you hope you're stronger. Like, the best part about Prophet, like the best teamfight execution generally is like, you get a good pick off from the outside, someone overextends, you Gleipnir or Sprout them, kill them, the enemy team tries to respond, you pop your BKB and you man up and hope you're stronger. And he certainly was stronger in that case. I actually would have really liked to see him finish the Satanic this game. It's such a good Satanic game. You can purge Frostbite, purge Naga spells, most importantly, purge Overgrowth. It's such a good game to be able to purge that Overgrowth, and none of the enemy heroes have burst damage, so you're always going to be able to get off your Satanic and turn the fight. I'm surprised he didn't rush it. I guess they really felt like they needed this Nullifier to finish some kills, but kind of weird. Upcoming here is, I'd say, probably Jabs' biggest play of the game. He's going to find a big opportunity onto the Naga Siren and catch her out. And these are the plays that win matches, right? 100%. When you can identify that the enemy team is separated and split up and they're just being stupid, right? They're not being aggressive, they're being stupid. You got to pick them off. And he sees DP showing top. We just saw the tree and TP back to base, right? They tried to pick off tree and he got out. Of course, this Naga Siren's alone, and she can't kill Furion, not with like a billion armor, lifesteal, and a BKB, right? She can mess with him, but if she commits on the kill, she's gonna die. The Tiny shifts over. He actually wastes both of his stuns. Maybe Naga could have tried to TP. Maybe she would have gotten lassoed, I don't know. But either way, they end up finding the Naga kill, right? They hit the lasso, and then he knows Darkseer is alone as well. DP still showing top, and just a huge mistake from Hellraisers to show like this around the map. You cannot make that mistake, and they go down. Another big part of Nature's Prophet is identifying mid to late game who doesn't have a way out of Sprout. Like, Sprout is a 6-second stun if they don't have a way out, so he clicks around here, and he sees that Darkseer does not have a way out of Sprout, so he TPs in and just, sprouts the guy, insta-kills him, you know what I mean? Like, if you can Gleipnir a support, kill a support, and then Sprout a core and kill the core, I mean, this hero just carries team fights, right? Because you just eviscerate them with how much damage you do. Your hero's base attack time is some of the lowest in the game, so you hit way too fast. Like, here, he doesn't even have a real damage item. He really doesn't. I mean, the Gleipnir is a good damage item, but it's AC Gleipnir is nothing compared to some like Battle Fury Daedalus, you know what I mean? It's just not. It's no Silver Edge build, but he's just destroying them because you just get to stand there and hit a million times. Another quick tip about Nature's Prophet is being willing to TP out mid-fight. For some reason, most players just forget that they should do this. I mean, your hero can literally TP out and TP back in. In this case, he doesn't actually have a regular TP, but best case scenario in most fights is you pop your BKB, you do some damage, and if you think you're going to die when the BKB ends, you TP out when BKB has about 3 seconds remaining, right? So you use the first 3 to 4 seconds of your BKB to do some damage, as we'll see here. And then he's like, oh, I'm kind of overextending. I'm dying to illusions, and my BKB is going to extend. So he sprouts himself, which he didn't have to do, you know, he was BKB'd. But he sprouts himself and TPs back to base. Now, typically, this is why you do not want to use your ability TP. You want to use regular TP to TP out, because now he has to TP top, and he's like, hey, be careful, guys, right? I can't be there for a little bit. but his TP, you know, it's only a 20-second cooldown, so it's back up. Either way, he gets to push in top. And this is kind of nice. It ends up super working out. He gets to push in top, establish some map control, work towards his Satanic. And yeah, a lot of people forget, very important to TP out if you feel like you messed up. If you notice the fight's going bad, pop that BKB, regular TP out, and you can normal TP back in when you feel like you've overextended. All right, at this point of the game, he's so damn tanky with the Satanic where honestly, he can TP more aggressive if he wants to. Like, it's very hard based on the enemy's heroes for them to kill him. Even without BKB at this point of the game. They just have very, very limited stuns, so the Satanic timing is huge. Which is why I'm kind of surprised he actually delayed it for the Nullifier. Like, it's a really good Nullifier game against the likes of Living Armor, Surge, and then Ghost Scepters and Force Staffs, which dominate the late game. But yeah, that's GG. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this analysis of Jabs. Let me know what other heroes and other games you want me to analyze from the major. I always like kind of just picking one hero and really going into depth because I think that's kind of the one thing you don't get from watching the major. But all right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.